Nice cook.
I want to come. We're gonna come and see that.
See, we better go to that football right now. They act like we'll be back on Thursday. That's what our waiter said.
I think it is.
Welcome to St. Petersburg. Have a good time. Today, good weather, special for you.
We just basically stay impressed.
There was the war between the knights of the Teutonic Order and the Russians. The name of the commander of Russian army was Alexander. Alexander joined this land to Russia. So this territory became part of Novgorodian Principality of Russia. Russia as a state was founded only in the middle of the 15th century. That's why when we speak about the history of my country before that, we speak about the principalities. So this land was part of Novgorodian Principality until 1617. When Sweden occupied this land, it was under Sweden until 1700. In 1700, the young Russian Tsar Peter I understood that it was very important for Russians to get this land back. There was one Christian church in the world until 1054, when the church split into the Catholic and Orthodox. So we belong to the steamer of Russia. Elizabeth was built in 1870. The cruiser Aurora was built there in 1900. The first in the world nuclear icebreaker Lenin was built there too. Now they build submarines there, including the nuclear ones. We sell submarines abroad to such countries like this from. There'll be such milestones in many places. You'll recognize them. The American Canal is named after him because he had a house located on the bank of this river. One of composer Glinka, who is the founder of National Opera of Russia, there is a grey classical building of the Conservatoire, musical higher education establishment founded by Anton Rubinstein, named after a 20th century. The Yusupovs had the interiors of the Yusupovs to the public, and the assassination of the yellow and white building, which is straight ahead along the right side, and this one which is near the bus on the right, are the institutes on Nicholas I. The building with the banners behind it, it was named after the patron saint of the founder of St. Petersburg. Worship service 24 hours a day. But in general, St. Isaac's is the cathedral, is the museum, positions of architecture. The city was planned from the very beginning. It did not.
No funny faces. No funny faces.
Famous architectural ensembles of the city are located along the Neva. Along the near this boulevard, there is the former manege, or the stables for the horses of the royal family. Royal horses were treated like royalty. So this building in the end of this boulevard along the right side, with it by the arch, you can see the former synod and the former senate along the left side, and the unity between the church and the state is reflected in the synod and the senate. The pedestal is shaped as a wave made of a solid block. Faculties of the State University of St. Petersburg. The bluish building, the red and white building, and several small constructions around belong to the most prestigious higher education establishment of Russia after Moscow University, St. Petersburg State University. 50,000 students, 5,000 professors. Yellow building with the colonnade on the left is the Academy of Science. One must be at least a PhD degree person to be able to work there. The president of the Academy of Science is Zhores Alfurov, a physicist, the Nobel Prize, the member of the Communist Party, by the way. Nearby there is the blue building with the tower, the Museum of Ethnography of the Nations of the World, with the biggest in the world collection of American Indians. Russian czars collected everything. The yellow building closer to the bridge on the left is the former Wehr Theatre, the family theatre of the royal family. Next to the palace of the Tsar, there are grand ducal palaces. House number 26, for example, is the former property of Prince Vladimir, who was uncle of Nicholas II, the last Russian Tsar. All these palaces along this embankment up to the next bridge, the average price for the flat would be 350, 400,000 American dollars. St. Petersburg is one of the most expensive cities in the world. Another tributary of the Neva, the Moika, with the choir bridge, because there is one of the symphony halls, the capella, located in the courtyard on the left. That's why when they have concerts, people who are walking along, the column doesn't go under the ground. It stands by its own weight. It has no any support devices. The weight of the column is 600 tons. Alexander's gratitude to
Я оттуда иду, там есть пешок.
Days under the name The Hermitage, the Museum of the Culture of the Nations of the World. Being in this square, you can see the trinity of any European capital: the church, the Dome of St. Isaac's, the Tsar, the Winter Palace, and the army, two military systems, general headquarters and the Admiralty with the spire. Palace Square is the place of all our manifestations, demonstrations. The canal is described by different writers of Russia. With the statue of Russian Tsar Alexander III in the courtyard behind the railing. Now the residence of Grigory Orlov, who was a field marshal, is open as a museum of modern culture of Russia. Family, nowadays one of the public gardens in the city. The statue, which is to the left, is the monument to Generalissimo Suvorov, who is shown in the guise of Mars, god of the war. That's why the field, which is located behind the statue, got such a name, the Field of Mars. The Gulf of Finland. If you go, you'll come to the lake, Lake Ladoga. If you go to the left, you'll come to the Gulf. So this river is like the channel which connects the Gulf and the lake. It takes you only 2 hours to drive from this. Is the Trinity Chapel. Trinity Chapel and Trinity Bridge. The fortress is the smallest island in the delta of the Neva. Some of the old ships are used like cafes. Next to it, there is the famous cruiser Aurora. Nobel, who became famous for the Nobel Prize. This is where he was producing powder, much more money. He was mining oil in the Caspian area of Russia. It reforms itself usually through the revolution. It happened many times in the world, enough to the Bolshevik party decided to take power from Kerensky. The reason why Bolsheviks won is they were the church is the most important, the most impressive construction in the fortress. Nowadays, which succeeds the spire of the cathedral in height. St. Peter and St. Paul Cathedral, which is in the middle of the fortress, became the graveyard of Russian Tsars. Russian Tsars from Peter I, famous Katyushas, invented by Russian military engineers during World War II in 1942. Some historians say that Russia won victory over the Nazi thanks to those Katyushas. 16 shells, 16 rockets go at a time. They publish banknotes. The second one is here, in the fortress of St. Petersburg. The former harbor answered the purpose of the harbor. The building with the statue of the Neptune above the colonnade is the former stock exchange. Chekhov and so on. Little bill on the right side is the central body of the State University. In the central entrance on the right, they often show this building on TV. President Bush, President Clinton, many politicians are usually interviewed by the students of this university. They organize different meetings, receptions there. On the left, you can see the studies Chinese language. He has two daughters, so one of them is the student of this university. Nice view of St. Isaac's on the opposite bank. On the right, in this yellow Petersburg, there are 5 railway stations. And there are, in front of the Academy of Fine Arts, there are Egyptian sphinxes on the left. In the beginning of the 19th century, Russian Tsar Nicholas I bought them in Thebes, nowadays Luxor. These sphinxes are made of basalt. They were made in the 13th century before Christ. Repair of the main bridge. They're planning to open it. And the bridge which is further from us, closer to the Gulf, is the regional bridges of the city. Trade unions occupy the former palace of Prince Nicholas, the member of the royal family.
Taking them together.
Yeah, just a minute.
I was at Constallation when I got back. You went that way. In Bonn. And when you ask for bus stations, I said, how far am I away from the main bus station? He said, the bus station. You know, way back. And then the drivers pulled up and he said, go and sit on the wall over there with Charlie. So, that's just me, really.
because the first building is on the other side. So right now we are at the Neva River, which is actually the main river of St. Petersburg. We have very often in the autumn the strong winds from the Gulf of Finland, which reverse the stream or the normal stream of the Neva River, and the water level rises. So usually we have flood once a year, and well, in the second half of the 17th century, Peter the Great ascended the throne. He decided to conquer all this land because this land is very important for the development of all countries, because that gave the answer to the Baltic Sea. And he waged the war, which lasted for 21 years. It was started in 1700 and it was ended however after a large bridge. This one is named the Palace Bridge because it's very near to the Winter Palace. All the bridges because the Neva River are broad bridges. So they open at night for several hours because the people go to the basement of the Gulf of Finland. So all the buildings on the both sides of this embankment are beautiful buildings with the cupola. So it's a blue color with a white color. Building of yellow color with a white column. This one is the building of fine art. It was built here in the 18th century and used for the same purpose. So most of the historical buildings right here are like ministries. That was governmental building. Right now it's used by the state university, our city, because it's very tall and it's people can shine. So right here we are already employed. They often use this mention of palace for the different important relationships of the ambassadors. So on the right there is a beautiful bridge, one of the oldest one. Actually, the one you can see right here from that side, this one is just temporary bridge which was erected here for the time of the restoration of the authentic bridge. So the authentic bridge was built one of the first in the actually each of them. Otherwise we would have a lot of traffic jams along the bridges. So every bridge is very important. That's why they decided to put here a temporary bridge for the time of the restoration of the authentic. So right here on the right again you can see the buildings of the alternative museum. So the bright which was built in the middle of the 18th century by the architect of Australia. It was used as a formal imperial residence till the revolution. So only after the revolution it was nationalized and was opened as a museum. Then also next to it there is another one, small green building. It's very small with several white columns and several statues. This one is the building of the small hermitage building. So it was built initially in the second half of the 18th century, especially, which consisted of more than 2,000 paintings, mostly by Flemish and French artists. The focus of this collection is the individual center. And right now we have there the collection of the Hermitage Museum, mostly Italian. Behind this building, there is the fourth building of the Hermitage Museum, is the new Hermitage Museum, which from the next to it on the right, there is, you can see, a large garden. Actually, in the 18th century, the title of the garden was much larger. So right now it is decorated with a beautiful layering, which was added here only in the second half of the 18th century. It is kind of dedicated to the Polish terminal of the Winter Palace during the revolution. So it means that the black ship, at this time it wasn't standing right there, it was much closer to the Winter Palace. The building itself is not very beautiful. It was built in the 1970s. At that time, the most important was to have comfort inside. And on the left, there is such a yellow building. This one is the medical academy. This is the medical academy. One of the best medical center right here. what we're going to do. And most of such large enterprises were constructed for this purpose. To be the industrial capital of Russia right now, so the land that was remained in Petersburg only in 1991, and the retirement vehicle completed in one of the largest industrial enterprises. Right here, actually this one is the best place for constructions in the buildings, so such industrial area, but it's very close to the city border, so it's much better to take away some of the industrial buildings, much So right now, on the right, in the distance, there is one of the bridges, which is actually very blue, and it is built in the century. Right now, it's a really famous bridge. Initially, it was the Constallation bridge, so right now, we are turning back, and we are going to visit the campus. Then come up.
Девки молодые, деревня сама, выйдут на улицу, глянут село. Девки гуляют, деревья село. Выйдут на улицу, глянут село. Девки гуляют, деревья село. Выйдут на улицу, глянут село. Девки гуляют, деревья село.
Now we are going to the Academy of Fine Arts, where we will have another concert. So, did you like the show? Did you like the road trip? Yes. Okay, very
What about the dancing? Hey, what about the dancing? That old coach there, old coach.
Right, Chris dances there.
Наши